Hello everyone. This is Melanie Main for Bill Russo's Short Story Theatre. Today's presentation is not a dramatic tale with the players of our drama group, but is an account of our author, Bill Russo's baseball career. We've got a small crowd gathered in the little theatre, and Bill is on stage to tell about his 2 weeks of fame as a member of the world champion baseball team, the Boston Red Sox. Let's switch to the theatre now, and go on stage with Bill.
Hey, how you doing? Me? I'm good. I just had a birthday and was thinking about the old days. Like a lot of other kids from my generation, I wanted to be a baseball player. Luckily for me, I got a chance to live my dream. While I was just barely out of high school, I got signed to a minor league team in Worcester. Now, if you are not from New England, you probably never heard of Worcester. But if you are from New England, you know about it. If you're not from the 5.5 New England states, you might never have heard of Worcester. Well, somebody's probably wondering about the 5.5 New England states. You see, there's supposed to be 6 New England states. Massachusetts, the state that sounds like a sneeze, Massachusetts! Achoo! That's 1. The other New England states are Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont. That makes 5 states. The 6th state would be Connecticut, but the other 5 states got together and kicked out half of Connecticut. Why did they do this? Well, because some people in Connecticut are New York Yankee fans. New York Yankee fans in Red Sox territory. That ain't allowed. Almost half of Connecticut likes the Yankees. They listen to the Yankee games on the radio, and some of them even go to the enemy ballpark. So after half of the nutmeg state was kicked out of New England, yeah, nutmeg state, that's the nickname of Connecticut. And the half that was kicked out is the nut half. The megs got to stay in New England and be half a state. That's how we ended up getting 5.5 New England states, even though we used to have 6. Well, I got sidetracked there for a minute. I'm supposed to be telling you about my baseball career in Worcester. So, if you are from outside of New England and you don't know this, Worcester is spelled like Worcester, but it's pronounced Worcester. It's about 50 miles west of Boston, and it's got about 200,000 people. That makes it the second biggest town in Massachusetts after Boston. So, they've always had a baseball team there, a professional baseball team. Not a major league team, but a minor league team. Now, back when I played, it was a Class D team. Yeah, they used to have 7 levels of baseball. There was the major league, and then 6 levels of minor league teams. AAA, AA, single A. Then the real low levels of B, C, and D. D was the lowest rung on the baseball ladder, and that's where I landed. I played for the Worcester Twisters of the Class D League, but I was a terrible player. I only got into 17 games the whole season. I used to strike out almost every time I got up at bat. I knew that when the season was over, my baseball career was probably going to be over too. So, it was the last game of the season. We were playing at home against the Haymakers from upstate New York. They were the best team in the league, the number one team in the league. It was the last of the ninth. There were 2 outs, and I was up. Me, the worst hitter on the team, and I was up with 2 outs and 2 guys on base. There was a guy on second, and there was a guy on third. The pitcher wound up and he threw a slider that had a bigger curve than Marilyn Monroe. I swung and missed by about a mile. Then the pitcher got back on the mound and he flung a fastball right by me. I swung late, so late the catcher was ready to throw the ball back at the pitcher by the time I took my cut. Things didn't look good. Of course, there was only about 100 fans in the ballpark that day, and nobody was really even watching the game. The Red Sox were in a hot pennant race, and they was fighting for first place. The management of the Worcester team that I was playing for was piping in the radio broadcast of the Red Sox game in loudspeakers all throughout the ballpark, so everybody was listening to the Red Sox game while we was playing our game. So anyways, I'm down to my last strike in the last inning with 2 guys on and 2 guys out. We're trailing by a run. It's 3-2. The pitcher winds up and throws a changeup pitch so slow my grandmother could have hit it. Just as he releases the ball, the announcer on the Red Sox game is screaming excitedly and says, "It's a hit! It's off the wall!" The batter is rounding first base and going for second. Well, the guys on second and third base heard that call from the Red Sox game, and somehow they thought it was me that got a hit. So they started running for home plate. After I took my swing and, of course, missed, I noticed the umpire didn't call me out. He was listening to the Red Sox game. He didn't even see the pitch. So I took off for first base. The guys on second and the guys on third both came in to score, and I wound up on second base. The umpire saw those 2 guys score, and he yelled, "Safe!" So we won that game by a score of 4-3. In the locker room after the game, everybody was high-fiving me and calling me the hero of the game. They was all paying attention to the Red Sox game, and they really believed I got the game-winning hit. But even getting credit for that hit didn't do much for my batting average, so when I saw the manager of the team coming over to talk to me, I figured he was going to tell me that I was being dropped from the team. But instead, he was slapping me on the back and saying that winning the game was the highlight of the season. He told me even in Boston, they heard about me hitting a double off the wall to beat the top team in the Class D league. Then it got even better. He told me the Red Sox were calling me up to Boston to be on the Major League roster for the final 2 weeks of the baseball season. In Boston, I had a room in Kenmore Square, paid for by the Red Sox. They gave me a paycheck, and the meal money that they gave me, that was $50 a day. And that was more money than I was getting paid in a whole week playing for the Worcester Twisters. So I never got in a single game in the major leagues, but I got to hang out with the Red Sox for 2 weeks, be in the clubhouse, be on the road with them. I had my own locker back in Fenway Park on a Red Sox shirt with the number 78 on it. At the end of the season, I got the news that I was being promoted to Class C. I was scheduled to play for the Scranton Ironmen next season. But I decided to leave on a high note, and I turned down the contract and retired from baseball. Never played another game. I think it was some old comic named Milton Berle who said, always leave them laughing. So that's kind of what I thought. Leave on a high note, get out while the getting's good, you know? Hey, and speaking of getting out, that's what I got to do. My time's up. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Bill Russo, the producer and director of short story theater. Bill told us about his career with the Boston Red Sox. Bill says that this tale is about 5% true. He did play baseball. But it was not for the Boston Red Sox, or even the Worcester Twisters. While in high school, he played in a league for 13 to 18-year-old boys. The true part is, he did strike out many times. Thanks for listening. Tune in again real soon. Won't you?